As above, so below. As within, so without. This ancient Hermetic truth inscribed upon the emerald tablet invites us to look beyond appearances, to sense that the microcosm and the macrocosm are not two different realms but two reflections of the same infinite intelligence. The same force that gives birth to galaxies also breathes quietly inside every atom of your being. Today we journey into the depth of this universal law, to uncover how it bridges ancient wisdom with the discoveries of modern science, and how, when understood, it transforms not only the way we see the universe, but the way we live within it. Because to know this law is to realize that we are not observers standing apart from reality. We are the very continuation of it. This is known as the Principle of Correspondence. The recognition that reality, in all its layers, is woven from a single pattern, repeating itself endlessly in different forms. Everything that exists is part of one grand fractal, a spiral of mirrors stretching from the smallest particle to the vastest constellation. The Hermetic masters taught that if you truly wish to understand the world, you must first understand yourself, because the two are not separate. The universe is a mirror, and consciousness is the reflection looking back. Every cell in your body carries the entire genetic code of the whole organism, just as every star contains the same elemental matter that makes up your flesh and bones. We are not visitors in this cosmos. We are its expression. Look closer. The dance of electrons around an atomic nucleus mirrors the spiral of planets around a sun. The network of neurons in your brain resembles the cosmic web that connects galaxies across the universe. From the quantum foam to the edge of the observable cosmos, one silent law governs all. And that law whispers, what is above is also within. When we look at life through this principle, we begin to see the hidden threads that connect everything. Every emotion you feel sends ripples through the field of existence. Every thought is a vibration that shapes reality. The inner world and the outer world are two currents of the same ocean. What moves one inevitably moves the other. This is why transformation always begins from within. When you shift the inner vibration, the external pattern rearranges itself to match. Your life is not happening to you. It's happening through you. The world is responding to the signal you emit from your state of being. This is what the ancient mystics knew and what modern physics is slowly rediscovering. Jesus once said, "When the kingdom of God is within you." And in those few words lies the same Hermetic insight, that the human being is a microcosm containing the divine blueprint of the cosmos. Every one of us carries within the seed of the infinite. To awaken to this truth is to realize that divinity is not somewhere distant, but pulsing quietly beneath your skin, breathing through your every thought, shaping the world around you in reflection. The human mind is both the observer and the creation of the universe, a mirror through which the cosmos becomes aware of itself. Plotinus, the great Neoplatonist philosopher, once said, "The more a man knows himself, the more he knows the universe and what is beyond it. Because when you gaze deeply into your own consciousness, you are gazing into the consciousness of the whole." Our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, acts as a lens that bends and colors the light of experience. When the lens is clouded by fear, anger, or confusion, the world appears hostile and fragmented. But when the lens is clear, and when we are at peace within, the same world reveals its harmony, its beauty, its divine intelligence. Nothing has changed externally, only the observer has. And yet, by changing the observer, everything changes. This is the mystery of as above, so below. It is not a poetic metaphor, but a living law of resonance. What happens inside mirrors what happens outside, and what happens outside calls us back to look within. Like two mirrors facing one another, existence and consciousness create an infinite corridor of reflections. the dance between the cosmos and the soul. For the mystics, this understanding wasn't philosophy, it was liberation. They saw that everything in the cosmos, every star, every drop of water, every breath, carries within it the totality of the whole. You are not a fragment of creation. You are creation, momentarily aware of itself through human form. Carl Jung, whose insights shaped much of modern psychology, called this the connection between the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious, a vast ocean of archetypes and symbols that ripple through every human being. Just as the cosmos expands and contracts in eternal motion, your inner world pulsates with patterns of transformation, forever seeking balance. To explore your inner universe is not to escape the external one, but to touch the very heart of it, to rediscover the original rhythm that beats in both. And this journey inward, this path of correspondence, is the alchemy of the soul. It is the art of transmuting fear into wisdom, chaos into clarity, darkness into light. It is realizing that every challenge, every mirror the world places before you, is an invitation to refine the vibration you send back to it. As you shift your inner state, the universe responds, not because it is judging you, but because it is you. Paracelsus, the great alchemist, said, "He who knows himself knows the universe." And this is the key. The alchemist's work was never about turning metal into gold. It was about turning the dense material of the self into the radiant light of awareness. By transmuting our inner lead, our fears, our doubts, our limitations into gold, we align with the divine flow of creation. This is the real meaning of as above, so below. It is not a commandment to believe in something external, but an awakening to the unity that already exists. The divine and the material are not opposites. They are reflections of each other, endlessly returning to the same center. Spirit flows into matter. Matter reflects the spirit, and in between, there you are, the bridge, the mirror, the meeting point of heaven and earth. The principle of correspondence tells us that everything in existence is woven into a web of mirrors, a living tapestry where each thread reflects the pattern of the whole. From the smallest vibration to the grandest star, the same rhythm moves through all things. This rhythm, this hidden symmetry, is what the ancients called the language of the universe. In that language, spirit and matter are not enemies. They are dance partners, two reflections of the same cosmic melody, one invisible, the other visible. When we say as above, so below, we are not speaking of distance but of reflection. Spirit is the source, the cause. Matter is its echo, its shadow in motion. To imagine them apart is to misunderstand the design of reality. Spirit breathes form into matter, and matter gives spirit a way to experience itself. They exist in a sacred loop, one feeding the other, one expressing the other, like inhale and exhale. When you look around, at a leaf trembling under sunlight, at the shape of a seashell or the spiral of a galaxy, you are seeing the breath of the spirit made visible. Each form is a signature, a symbol of an invisible principle unfolding through creation. This is the true art of Hermeticism, to perceive not only with the eyes but with the inner vision that recognizes correspondence. The sage does not look at the world as dead matter. He sees it as a living scripture, a book written by the divine in which every page mirrors the unseen truth behind it. The Emerald Tablet speaks, "That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below," to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. This one thing, the single essence of all, is what the alchemists sought not in their furnaces but in their hearts. Their fire was the fire of consciousness, burning through illusion to reveal unity. Think of it this way. Spirit is like the unseen light of the sun, and matter is the world illuminated by that light. Without the light, there would be no form. Without form, the light would have no witness. Together they create reality. One invisible, one visible, both eternal. Modern science, in its own language, echoes this same understanding. It tells us that matter at its deepest level is not solid at all. It is vibration, waves of potential energy collapsing into form only when observed. And who is the observer? Consciousness itself. In other words, matter exists as a reflection of awareness. The Hermetic masters knew this long before the language of physics existed. They saw that what we call reality is a mirror, a projection of inner intention and spiritual law. To transform the outer world, we must first tune the inner frequency. This is not about control, it is about alignment. To force the world is to fight the mirror. To align with its rhythm is to shape it effortlessly. When you raise your consciousness, when your thoughts and emotions harmonize with higher principles, the material world rearranges itself in resonance. It is not magic. It is law. Just as the seed becomes a tree not by struggle but by natural correspondence with sunlight and soil, so too does your reality unfold when aligned with the higher plane. DNA itself is a perfect metaphor. Invisible to the naked eye, yet it contains the entire design of a living being. It is the spirit of the body, an unseen code giving rise to visible form. So it is with creation. The spiritual plane is the code, and the material world its living manifestation. When we understand this, our relationship with life begins to change. We stop chasing external forms and start tending to the inner cause. We realize that abundance, love, and peace do not come from grasping at the world, but from aligning our spirit with the frequency of those states. Matter follows mind, just as the shadow follows the body that casts it. To desire prosperity, for example, is not wrong, but the wise understand that prosperity begins in the unseen. It begins in the state of consciousness that feels whole, worthy, grateful. From that inner vibration, opportunities, ideas, and synchronicities emerge naturally. The outer world reflects the inner resonance, always. And so the real alchemy begins not in the manipulation of external things, but in the mastery of inner energy. It is the art of turning invisible thoughts into tangible realities, to turn fear into courage, confusion into clarity, scarcity into creation. This is the true gold of the alchemists. When the mind aligns with the spirit, matter becomes fluid, a mirror that bends to reflect the pattern of higher order. Transformation happens not by willpower alone, but by coherence, by harmony. You do not force the flower to bloom. You simply provide the right conditions and it cannot help but unfold. This is why the Hermetic path is not about escape, not about abandoning the material world in search of the spiritual, but about weaving them together. To live spiritually is not to float above life, but to walk through it with awareness, to see the sacred geometry hidden in the ordinary, the divine spark inside every experience. True spirituality is not an escape from matter. It is the realization that matter is spirit crystallized into form. When you understand that, you stop dividing your life into sacred and mundane, light and dark, above and below. You begin to see the holy in the everyday and the sacred heartbeat hidden in the silence between moments. The alchemists called this the great work. The process of uniting the above and the below, the inner and the outer, the visible and the unseen. It was never about escaping the body, but about awakening the spirit within the body. When this union occurs, something miraculous happens. Life itself becomes the philosopher's stone. Every challenge becomes a crucible, every experience a flame refining your essence. And little by little you begin to shine with a light that feels both human and cosmic, because it is both. The principle of correspondence invites you to see that every layer of existence is connected to every other. that what happens on one level echoes through all the others. To touch the higher plane is to change the lower. To heal the inner is to heal the outer. To awaken the self is to awaken the world. And so, when you meditate, when you breathe consciously, when you choose love instead of fear, do not think it is a small act. In that moment, you are aligning an entire fragment of the cosmos with its original harmony. The ripples of that alignment extend farther than you can imagine. For what is the universe, if not consciousness reflecting upon itself? And what are you, if not the mirror through which it remembers its own divine face? The Hermetic law of correspondence is not only written in philosophy, it's etched into the fabric of existence itself. Everywhere we look, the universe whispers the same pattern, the same intelligence repeating across scales so vast and small that it almost feels like a cosmic joke. What is above is below, what is within is without. In nature, this correspondence takes on breathtaking form. Look at a fern leaf, the branching of trees, the delicate veins of your lungs. They all follow the same fractal order, a single rhythm replicated endlessly. The spiral of a nautilus shell and the spiral arms of a galaxy. Two expressions of the same mathematical harmony, separated by millions of light years, yet born from the same invisible equation. The Fibonacci sequence, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, unfolds like a divine signature in everything that grows, expands, and breathes. This is not coincidence, it is evidence. Evidence that the universe is not random chaos, but sacred geometry in motion, a living, breathing design where every part mirrors the totality. When we understand this, we begin to see that life itself is the visible expression of invisible order. The ancients called it the language of the gods. Modern science calls it fractal geometry. But both point to the same truth, that reality in all its complexity is built upon self-similarity. Patterns repeating across infinite scales. The same structure that governs the growth of a snowflake governs the motion of galaxies. The same rhythm that pulses in your heartbeat echoes in the orbits of planets. The cosmos is a song, and everything that exists, from atoms to stars, vibrates to its melody. When you gaze into the night sky, remember, those constellations are not far away. They are reflections of the same cosmic intelligence unfolding within you. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm, the universe condensed into consciousness. Your thoughts, your emotions, your heartbeat, they are the small echoes of the great rhythm that moves worlds. This realization transforms the way we see life. We begin to understand that there is no separation between out there and in here. The same intelligence that turns chaos into galaxies also guides the evolution of your soul. Each breath, each decision, each subtle emotion, they all ripple through the same ocean of existence. And as you move, so does the world. Consider the flow of rivers as they carve their path to the sea. Now look at the branching veins in a leaf, or the flow of blood through your veins. Each follows the same principle: flow and return, circulation and renewal. The macrocosm and microcosm mirror each other perfectly, as if the universe had written the same line of poetry into every level of creation. Even your body is a living map of the cosmos. The brain's neural network mirrors the structure of galactic clusters. The circulatory system mirrors the Earth's waterways. The rhythm of your breath mirrors the rhythm of the tides. Every inhale, every exhale, expansion and contraction. Just like the endless cycle of the universe itself. This is why the mystics said that to study nature is to study God. Nature does not argue, it reveals. It does not speak in words, but in patterns, in rhythm, in silence. It is the divine made visible. And when you learn to see it, every cloud, every wave, every heartbeat becomes a lesson in unity. The philosopher Pythagoras believed that number and proportion were the principles of all things, that everything in existence could be understood through mathematical harmony. To him, music, mathematics, and the movement of the stars were different languages describing the same divine truth. He taught that the soul resonates according to the same intervals as the cosmos, that our emotions, our very thoughts, are vibrations in the same universal scale. Centuries later, science would confirm this vision. The discovery of fractals, of quantum fields, of holographic theory, all point toward a single, unbroken reality. Physicist David Bohm described the universe as a hollow movement, an undivided wholeness in flowing motion, where each part contains the information of the whole. Just like a hologram, where every fragment reflects the complete image, the universe is structured so that the all is in the one, and the one is in the all. What happens in the stars resonates in your cells. What happens in your mind ripples through the field of collective consciousness. Every thought you release is a vibration added to the cosmic symphony, and this is why inner transformation matters, because consciousness does not end at the edge of your skin. It radiates outward, shaping the world in ways that science is only beginning to understand. When you heal yourself, you heal part of the collective. When you bring clarity to your mind, you bring clarity to the human field. The boundaries between self and universe dissolve, and you realize that the same current of energy animating your life also animates the galaxies. Fractals are the fingerprints of this truth. Benoit Mandelbrot, the mathematician who unveiled their geometry, showed how complex structures arise from simple repetition, from a single formula iterated infinitely. This is the secret of creation: simplicity begetting complexity, unity expressing itself as diversity, the one becoming the many without ever ceasing to be one. So when you trace the curve of a seashell or gaze into the spiral of a hurricane, you are witnessing the principle of correspondence in motion. You are seeing the mind of the cosmos unfold, the same equation, the same intelligence, endlessly echoing itself. And if this pattern exists everywhere outside, then surely it exists within. The human psyche, too, follows this fractal law. Our habits, our emotions, our thoughts, they repeat in loops, small reflections of deeper archetypal patterns that shape our destiny. The same laws that govern stars govern the mind. The same rhythm that creates life sustains consciousness. Every action, every decision is a seed planted in the soil of this universal geometry. Small as it may seem, it ripples across the web of existence. Just as a single drop falling into still water creates expanding circles that reach the shore, every thought you think, every word you speak creates waves that touch unseen shores in the universe. This is why the sages urged mindfulness, not as moral discipline but as cosmic awareness. Because the inner and outer are mirrors. Because what you send out returns. Because the pattern always repeats. When you understand this, even the smallest act becomes sacred. A gesture of kindness reverberates through the invisible web of life. A moment of clarity alters the pattern of your entire being. The correspondence between the microcosm and macrocosm is not just a theory. It is the living pulse of existence itself. The law of correspondence is not a distant mystery locked in sacred texts. It's the quiet rhythm that governs every breath you take. It's the whisper that says, what you hold within will always find its reflection without. Your body, your relationships, your circumstances, all of them are mirrors, showing you the shape of your inner world. Our thoughts are architects, sculpting the invisible. Our emotions are currents, carrying that design into movement. And our habits, the smallest, most ordinary things we do every day, are the chisels that carve reality into form. The universe responds not to what we want, but to what we are. When your inner world is fragmented, life appears chaotic. But when your inner world is aligned, life begins to flow with an effortless order. This is not superstition, it's resonance. Just as a tuning fork vibrates when struck by another of the same frequency, the outer world harmonizes with the vibration you sustain within yourself. A disciplined mind, for example, creates a disciplined life. Someone who holds clarity and purpose within naturally brings that order into their body, their work, their relationships. They eat with intention, move with grace, rest with awareness. Their external world becomes a mirror of their internal harmony. But a restless, scattered mind generates a scattered life. Disorder outside always begins as confusion within. When you neglect the temple of thought, chaos takes residence in the world around you. The body grows heavy, the spirit tired, and the path ahead clouded. The Hermetic masters never condemned this. They simply reminded us, change the cause, and the effect will follow. This is the essence of true power. Not control, not domination, but the quiet mastery of vibration. When you refine your inner frequency, everything adjusts accordingly. Life bends to match the note you play. Every act, no matter how small, carries this alchemical potential. Drinking a glass of water with mindfulness, breathing consciously before speaking, choosing stillness when the world demands reaction. Each moment is a seed planted in the soil of the cosmos, and the universe, ever faithful, brings forth its fruit. This is how transformation happens, not in sudden miracles, but in the daily cultivation of inner alignment. What you repeat, you become. And what you become, the world reflects. As Aristotle once said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. The one who wakes each morning with intention, who nourishes the mind with wisdom, the body with movement, the soul with silence, slowly begins to radiate a different energy. And that energy rearranges life. Opportunities appear where there were none. Peace replaces anxiety. Purpose emerges from confusion. It's not magic, it's the universe reflecting the pattern of coherence you've cultivated within. This is why the Hermetic path is not about escaping life, but embodying it more fully. It's about bringing spirit into matter, infusing the ordinary with the sacred. Every meal can become a ritual, every conversation a prayer, every challenge a mirror showing the place where light still waits to enter. When you truly live by as above, so below, the boundary between heaven and earth begins to dissolve. The divine is no longer something you seek. It becomes something you express. And life, with all its noise and complexity, turns into a temple of reflection. Consider this. The cosmos is not only around you, it is within you. Your body is made of stardust, forged from the remnants of ancient suns. Every atom in your bones once belonged to a star that lived, died, and gave its light back to creation. You are the universe remembering itself, temporarily walking as a human. The same energy that spins galaxies lives behind your eyes. And so the journey was never about reaching for something outside, but remembering what has always been inside. When you align your thoughts with truth, your emotions with compassion, your actions with purpose, you become the correspondence itself. You become the living bridge between the invisible and the visible. In that moment, you no longer believe in miracles. You are the miracle, because your life becomes proof that the law is real. What is above truly moves below. What is within truly manifests without. And the universe, like a perfect mirror, responds to your reflection with unwavering precision. So if you wish for peace, cultivate serenity within. If you long for strength, grow it quietly every day in thought and discipline. If you seek love, become love itself, until it radiates from you like light from the sun. Then the outer world cannot help but return it, because it is bound by correspondence to do so. This is the secret the sages guarded and the mystics lived, that creation is not a random accident but a conscious conversation between spirit and form. Every experience you attract is an echo of your inner tone. Every person you meet is a reflection of an aspect of yourself waiting to be recognized. And every challenge is a mirror through which the soul refines its own perfection. Life, then, is not happening to you. It is responding to you. And the more aware you become, the more gracefully it responds. This is the sacred responsibility of being conscious. You are not a spectator of the cosmos. You are its living expression. At its deepest level, the universe is a vast and vibrant melody, and each of us a single note within its eternal song. When we are dissonant within, the music of life feels chaotic. But when we align our inner tone with the harmony of the whole, we rediscover the rhythm that was always there. The rhythm of creation itself. The Hermetic sages would say that enlightenment is not about rising above the world, but seeing the divine symmetry in every corner of it. It's to look at a leaf and see the galaxy, to look at your own heart and see eternity. It's to live with the awareness that what you create in thought echoes across stars, and what happens in the heavens whispers quietly in your soul. And so, let this truth settle within you like a soft flame. As above, so below. As within, so without. The world is not separate from your consciousness. It is the mirror of it. You are both the sculptor and the clay, both the dream and the dreamer. Every moment is the reflection of your inner sky. If you wish to see the stars more clearly, calm the waters of your mind. May each choice you make become a silent prayer, echoing through the infinite, calling forth the highest version of yourself into form. For when the soul awakens to its own reflection, heaven and earth are no longer apart. They meet, right here, in you,